my seating charts, apparently. Like, they're not here. I don't know. So I'm trying to do seating, like, that's how I take attendance super quick, or as quickly as I can. Anyway, and then someone in my department didn't show up for work this morning, and apparently as the department head, that's my problem. Like, I'm supposed to fix that somehow, or whatever. So I was dealing with that first period, and then he came to work, so thank goodness he didn't quit, which I thought he had. So we're back to normal, but this is such a big lesson. We got to be on it. It's not difficult, okay? It's just you need instruction from me. So let's close, and I need you guys to really be paying attention. So I just want to go over something that we've already talked about to lead into this. So we're not on the calculator just yet. We will be momentarily. Remember, test review is Monday, Tuesday. If you're not here, you need to be working on it. It's going to take 2 days to get through a 2-day test review, okay? Because remember, the test is for 2 days. So the test review, you'll use that time, and I'll be doing a lot with you. I'll make a video both days. If you want it early, I passed it out yesterday. If anybody wanted it early, some of you took it, some of you didn't, but if you change your mind and you do want it, or you weren't here yesterday, it's on the cart. It's green, so you can start working on it if you want to, okay? I also told you that really difficult, after every single test in this class, we have to do a progress check in AP Classroom. It's just part of the class. We have to do it. I give you points just for completion. You did the other one when you had a sub, and so I don't remember anything about it with you guys because I wasn't here, but they're typically very difficult. Don't stress about it, okay? It's something we have to do, and I told you guys it's next Friday's assignment in class, which it still is. You can still use next Friday, but in case you know you're going to be absent, you need a makeup day for one of those test days, or you know you're going to be absent that day, it's open now until not this coming up Wednesday. It's like a week and a half, okay? So just get it done sometime in there, or just do it on Friday in class, okay? All right, so listen, as a reminder, we can be given some data, we can be given some information and told that it's linear or that it's quadratic. And we can easily prove that by doing first differences, second differences, and that kind of thing. So just a quick reminder about that. As I go left to right, what is happening to our y values? So you can see your inputs are increasing at a constant rate, right? Adding 1 each time, fine. What's happening with the y values? Well, we'll do first differences, if you remember. 7 minus 11 is negative 4. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So what this is telling us is that we're subtracting 4, right? You're going down by 4 consistently. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Negative 5 minus negative 1, trust me, is negative 4. Okay? So those are called first differences. And it's perfect, right? And if we kept going with this line, we'd keep getting negative 4 the whole way down. Because that's what a line is. Every single point is exactly the same distance from the previous point in a line, right? How about a quadratic? Well, we would first find our first differences. 5 minus 15 is negative 10, and negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. And I'm just going to go ahead and steal the rest of these from my key. So even if we didn't know what it is, we would for sure at this moment know it's not a line, right? Because the first differences are not constant like they were here. So we can check to see if it's a quadratic by finding second differences. So negative 6 minus negative 10 is positive 4. Negative 2 minus negative 6, trust me, you get 4 the whole way down. So since second differences are constant, this would make a parabola, okay, a quadratic. So that's, in math, lines, there's certain things you can count on, right? Like, if you know it's a line, you could use any 2 points to find the slope. If everything's going to be the same, we know a whole bunch of things about quadratics. These second differences will keep being the same the whole way through, okay? There's a reason I'm talking about this. Go to the next page and look at this example here. What this is a table of values of real-life data, right? These are just ordered pairs of an actual line, real ordered pairs of an actual parabola. This is real-life data. Real-life information could look linear or look quadratic or any of the other kinds of graphs, but it's not ever going to be perfect, right? The price of, let me tell you what this is about. The fresh market price of Florida oranges in dollars per box is shown in the table above. Okay, so it's saying these are the years they tracked the prices of oranges. So it's not going to be a perfect line or a perfect quadratic or whatever. This is what we're doing is asking our calculator to come up with something for us, and here's what we want it to come up with. We want it to come up with a linear regression model. So let me tell you what that means. What we want to do is ask our calculator to take this data and create a line as best it can. Give me an equation in slope-intercept form that fits this data as closely as you can. It's called a line of best fit. You could ask it to make this linear, quadratic, cubic, a whole bunch of different things. So when you see regression model, it's just it's a best guess, for lack of a better word, of how to make this data fit into linear. And that'll make more sense in a second. This is what we're learning on the calculator. This is something that you have to know how to do in this class. We do it all year long. It comes up in every section, okay? So you should have cleared your RAM. If you didn't, make sure you do. Second plus 712, because the second period was messing with these calculators, so you definitely want to. Now this is one of those times, guys, where I need you to all be doing this with me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to keep getting up and going over and saying, oh, you skipped that step or whatever. So everyone should have their calculator in their hand and be ready to go. Now, what we're going to do is put these X's and Y's in the calculator, okay? I'm going to write something here. We're going to call this list 1 and list 2. That'll make more sense in a second. And when your X values, your inputs are in years, we're going to assign values to it. I'm going to tell you what we're going to call these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will tell you where I got that number in a second. Actually, I'm going to tell you right now. If you go in your notes to page 145. If I were you, I would take that page right out of your notebook because you don't need it there. The back of it you'll never use. So page 145 are the instructions that we're going to be going through. And we're going to write on this, so because there's some things that have easier steps, okay? And we're going to do step 1, okay? We are going to, and I'll explain it here, all right? So we're going to put this stuff in our calculator. Where we go is stat. So the button stat, look for it. It's right here. Stat stands for statistics. So everybody should hit stat. And you should see this menu here. Okay? And it has 3 additional menus, edit, calc, test. We want to stay right here. So back to my home screen, I just hit stat, and then you would hit enter. And if you look, you have list 1, list 2, list 3, and so on. So we're just going to put our X and Y values in. So like I said, we're going to start typing in 1, and then you hit enter. 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter. Everyone should be typing that. Now we want to put our Y values in. Use your right arrow, and it puts you at the top of list 2. And then you don't want to make any mistakes, so take your time typing them in. You make a mistake, your equation will be wrong in a minute. What did I do now? Oh, I missed the 6. Okay, I'll go back. I missed the 6 and the 7. If you did that with me, if you copied, I had my calculator over it, so I missed it. You can go right back over there and add it in. Okay, so if you were just copying me and not looking at your paper, I forgot. Thank you for catching that. I missed the 6 and the 7. I told you it's been a day. Okay. I don't want to go on until I know everybody's ready. All right. Now, we just did step 1, okay? Step 2 and 3 don't have to be done every time, okay? The only time we have to do these is if you're comparing graphs, and I'm going to do one with you. So we're skipping over 2 and 3, okay? Now, we are going to ask our calculator to take this information and make a line out of it. Put that in slope-intercept form for us, okay? So I'm going to go right back to where I started, which was stat. So hit stat. Everyone should be hitting stats. Guys, don't put your calculators down. You need to be doing this with me, or you won't be able to do it on the test. This is muscle memory. So I hit stat again, right where we started, but instead of, right here is where I put my data, I'm going to go over to the calc menu. So arrow over. So calc means calculate. And you will notice there's a whole bunch of choices. We don't ever use 1, 2, or 3, but look at 4 on. 4 is a linear regression. Then 4 is quadratic regression, cubic regression, quartic regression. There's another linear regression. You can technically use 4 or 8. 8 is typically used in statistics classes, so we're just going to use 4 anytime it's a line. It's the first one you come to. And you can keep going. There's logs, there's exponentials, there's sines, cosine, there's all kinds of stuff. We want linear. That's what the direction said. So I'm going to hit 4, or you can arrow down and enter. So 4, and you should get this screen. It says linear regression, okay? Now, you don't have to mess with X list, arrow. You don't have to mess with Y list. It's just saying what your X's are in list 1, your Y's are in list 2. You can skip over that, but this step is very important. Right here, we have to store the equation. We haven't even gotten the equation yet. It's on the next screen in a minute after we hit calculate. But before we get there, we're going to tell our calculator, when you calculate it, please put it in your memory for me. You're asking your calculator to do that. I don't like her way of doing it here. It's dumb. So to store, you're going to do alpha, and I'll show you where it is, trace, and then enter. Alpha, trace, enter. Well, where the heck is that stuff? Alpha's the green button. I think is it green on yours? No, this button. Alpha. Alpha, trace. And the reason I'm hitting enter is because what I'm doing is asking my calculator to save it, and I'm telling it right now where to save it. Y1 is perfectly fine, and I'll show you where that is. It's in here in a minute. I'll show you. But that's why I just say hit enter. If I wanted to save it somewhere else, I would just arrow to something else. But why not just put it in Y1? Okay? So, and then keep going until you get to the screen where your equation is. And there it is. It tells you the equation at the top, y equals mx plus b. They're just calling it a. And there's your a value and your b value. And you're going to round to 3 decimal places. And it's written on this sheet for you. I'm going to put it here. So rounding to 2 or 3 decimal places would be okay. So what is that for? Why did we do all that? Well, in the real world, these farmers or whatever would go to the mathematicians. They come to people like us and say, all right, I need a way to predict what's going to happen in the future or even in the past. So now we give this farmer, we don't actually give the farmer the equation, but we have an equation now that we can use to make predictions, okay? So we're going to use that linear function to estimate the price for a box of oranges in 2014 and 2015. Look, we only have, let's pretend it's 2012. We want to kind of see, with this data, can we make a best estimate of what's going to happen in 2014 and 2015. So if 2012 is 7, this would be 8, what is that, 13? Yeah, this would be 8 and this would be 9. 9 and 10, sorry. So just counting up from there, right? And so where do we get that data? I mean, I don't want to have to plug x equals 9 into that and do the math. I mean, I could, but there's an easier way. I'm going to teach you a lot about your calculator today. You will not have homework. Just work with me today, okay? We're going to go to the table of values. Because remember we said, we asked our calculator to store it. See it right here on that screen? If you go to y equals, it's in there. That's why we picked y1, or you could have picked something else, doesn't matter. But it's right there in y1, out to lots of decimal places, right? We didn't type that in there. We just asked our calculator to store it. Now, if you wanted to see the graph, you could graph it. You can go to the table of values, which is right above graph. okay? And we want when x is 9. It's right there. The table of values gives you the answer right there. X is 9. So in 2014, the price, and if we're talking about money, we're not going to round to 3 decimal places. We would do it out to 2. According to this information, we can predict that it'd be $13.60 in 2014. And then in 2015, it would be $13.96. Okay? So we use our linear or quadratic or any regression model to make predictions. Right? Let's do another one. So, whenever your x values are like months or years, we have to give them x values. And this is a discussion as math teachers. We always talk about, like, is it better to make the first year, month, whatever it is, 0 or 1? And for this class, it's not really going to matter because you're always going to be told what to make it. In this case, it's saying to make January 0. I got a little ahead of myself. Let me read real quick. Average length of cell phone calls, L, in minutes for a high school student during the second semester, January to June, are shown in the table above. So time, this is what month and how long their phone calls are. Nobody talks on the phone, I don't think, right? Anyway, this is our L1, L2. It said to make January 0, which would make these subsequently, of course, those numbers. Now, smart thing to do would be to clear your RAM, okay, between every time you do this. So second plus 7, 1, 2. Where do I go? What button do I start with? Stat. Hit enter. L1, L2. Everyone should be typing their data in. Are you guys typing? Because you have to do this to learn it. You can't just watch me. Okay, sometimes that happens. And nobody knows why. It's an easy fix. Okay? So if that happens on your calculator, go back to stat and see number 5, setup editor. If you hit 5 and then enter, it'll be back again. Did it work? Try it. Oh, okay. What do you mean? All right, so everybody have their data. I know you probably don't, but data in. What is it asking us to do? This time it's asking for a quadratic. All right, so we're going to write an equation for the quadratic model. So after your info's in, what's the button I go to? Stat again. Over to calc, and we're going to go down to number 5. Right? Same idea. You need to store it. Alpha, trace, enter. I promise you, even though right now it seems like you're learning a lot, and there's all these new buttons and stuff, we do it so often that it's not something you're going to at all stress about. Alpha, trace, enter stores it. Keep going till you get to your quadratic. And there it is. It even gives you the model where to plug A, B, and C in. Rounding to 3 decimal places. Now, I'm going to get a little fancy on you. I'm going to use function notation. Length of call. So you were here, right? You put that in. So you go back to stat. Stat again. Yep, same button you started with. Over to calc. And then number 5 is quadratic. Arrow down to store. Alpha, trace, enter, enter, enter. Okay. If you used X and Y, totally fine. I just decided to be fancy for a minute. Yeah, no problem. You need to round correctly. And now, It wants to know what's happening in July. So I'm going to go to my table. And if June is 5, July would be 6, right? So my table is over here, and number 6 is 21.68. Okay. All right, we're going to do one more in the notes. And I'm really making life easy on you today. I did have 3 homework problems assigned. I changed it to 2, and I'm going to do one of them with you. Okay, so let's go, and you're going to get it done. All right, last one that we're going to do together here is example 7. So if you got lost on that one, let's do it again. Clear your RAM. Clear your RAM. Waiting for everyone to clear the RAM. Clear your RAM. Yeah, okay. Kyle, you guys, are you ready? I'm waiting for everyone to be ready. You cleared it? Okay, so what do we hit first? Stat, enter, right? Start type. Now, we don't have to change our X values here, right? These are just exactly what they are supposed to be. So just type them in. And it wants us to do a quadratic. So let's do that. So after your data's in stat again, over to calc, quadratic, alpha, trace, enter, enter, enter. And there it is. I'm going to show you a new symbol too. Sometimes like the physics people and statistics people put a hat on their Y. It's called a Y hat. You don't have to. Don't worry about it. I just want you to see it so you would recognize it. And let's just do part B here. 35 seconds. So X would be 35. How much water is in there at 35 seconds? That's when you go to your table and go to 35. Now I'm going to show you something really cool right now. 35, you know, when you clear your RAM, there's a lot of default settings, right? Like your graph goes out 10 in every direction. Your table is always going to start at 0. Now you can arrow to any number you want. And I know it wouldn't take you very long to arrow down to 35, but what if this was 3,500, 35,000? It's in there. You can ask it for any number, okay? So here's what we want to do. Look at a new button, new button, new button. Above the window, it says table set. See it in blue? That means set the table, set up the table. And that's what we're in. So if you want to change something in your table, we go to table set. So second, table set, and you see the menu. Now it's right now, it says it's starting, mine says -1. Yours probably says 0 if you weren't arrowing. It's just wherever I left off. Like if I go back to my table, my table's starting at -1. Okay? So whatever your calculator is on, that's what it is. But it doesn't matter. You can change that to any number you want. If it was like 3,500, right now I would just put 3,500 in right here, and that way when I go back, that'll be the first one that I see. It's not 3,500, it's just 35. But look. Change in the table. That little triangle means change. Right now it's counting by ones. You could change that to count by 0.5s or 0.23 or whatever you want to change it, and that would change what the x values are. Okay, so now that I did that, I'm just going to go back to my table, and you can see 35 is at the top. I don't have to arrow down to it. Okay, so that would be 59.723 inches. Right? So I'm going to give you 2 homework problems. And one of them I'm going to do with you right now. I'm doing it with you first because there was none like it in the notes. So I need to do one with you. And I tried changing one of these problems with second period to make it like that, and it was kind of messy. So I'm just going to do that one with you. All right? So what I want you guys to do is go to page 148. 13 I cut, but it will be on Canvas if you wanted another one to practice. So all you have to do is 12, and I'm going to do 16 with you. So you really are just going to do 12A and C. Omit means don't do, but not right now, because we're going to do number 16 together. Because there's something new in it. So I'm using your homework to teach you. Keep your calculator instructions nearby. We need them. Are we ready to do it? All right, number 16. Everybody go to 16. We're doing that one right now. The table below gives the stopping distance for an automobile under certain conditions. So we have speed for X, stopping distance for Y. Okay? I don't have a blank one of these. That's why I'm doing it like this. So you can kind of see the answers, but don't write these down. It wants us to find a linear and a quadratic model, and then say which one is better. Okay? So that's what we're about to do. Find both. We're going to start the same way. Clear your RAM, as you definitely need to do this one with me. Even if you understood everything, because I'm adding on a step. Remember the stuff I skipped on that answer sheet, or on that one sheet? Okay, so you're going to go to Stat and type in your data. So everyone should be doing this. I'm doing a homework problem with you. And I left a really easy one for you guys to do. And I'm done. So everybody should be typing their list 1 and list 2 in. You cannot learn this by watching me. You have to do it. So what we're going to do is find, we only have to put the data in once. It's in, okay? So let's find linear first. Nothing has changed yet. I'm going to go to Stat, Calc. Number 4 is linear. And I'm going to enter, 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 and I'm going to store here. Now, some of you are ahead of me because you're getting this. It's super easy to you. It's no big deal. Let me warn you really quickly, if you start moving ahead, when we do alpha trace enter, it's because we want to save in Y1. Right, great. Now, when we do the quadratic one, you're going to do alpha trace and then save it in somewhere else. So if you're working ahead of me, and I'll explain that when I get to it, but if you're working ahead of me, when you do the quadratic, you don't want to save in Y1 because you already have somebody in Y1. You're going to have to save it in Y2. Okay, so hit enter, steal my answer for time's sake, and that's the rounding. So we found our linear, and nothing has changed. Okay. What has changed is they also want us to find quadratic. Now I already put the data in. I don't have to put the data in again, right? It's still in there in Stat enter. It's right there. So now, Stat, Calc, and I'm going to go to quadratic. Go to number 5. Be very careful here because we do things so fast. Alpha trace enter. Don't do alpha trace enter. Do alpha trace and then move your cursor to Y2 because we already stored the this is in Y1 right now, right? This guy is in Y1. So hit enter for Y2. And there's our quadratic. You can steal it from me. Now, to prove it, guys, go to y equals. Hit your y equals button. You'll see both of them there. Y1 is my linear. Y2 is my quadratic. We just asked it to save. Do you see why you have to be careful? If I had done alpha trace enter, it would have put the quadratic in Y1. I would have had to go back and get it, okay? So now I have both of them. Now, I'll just tell you, if you hit graph right now, you're not going to see them because our window only goes out to 10. And look, our x value goes down to negative 52. So I'm going to go to window, and I'm going to change my y min, right? That's my y-intercept to like negative 80. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I want to see more, so I'm going to move up a little bit. Negative 80 might have been a little too aggressive. Let's do negative 60. See how you can kind of play with it until you can really see the graph. Now, that's not much better, but it's fine, whatever. So, it's not going to matter, trust me. So, what the question is, which one's better? Well, what do you mean, which one's better? Which one of these graphs hits more of these points? Which one of these graphs makes these points shape? Well, where are the points? That's what the stat plot steps are that we skipped, okay? You want to turn stat plot on. That's kind of cool. You're going to, like, there was an audible, oh, in my last class. That's so you can see the points that are in your table. So look, guys, look. Above your y equals is stat plot in blue. So if I go second, stat plot, and then I just hit enter, you'll see it's saying that they're off. All you have to do is hit enter, and now on is highlighted. And now when you hit graph, we should see the points. And I don't know why we don't. This happened last grade too. What? Why don't I? Why do you have the points? Zoom. Oh, okay. Okay, so guys, I just didn't zoom, right? So if you turned your stat plots on, they're on, okay? We just couldn't see the points from where we were. So, thank you, Zoe. Zoom out. You said you zoomed in or zoomed out? Zoomed out. Zoom 3. Enter. And you can do it as many times as you want, but you want to see the points. So they both look pretty good. But which one do you think? So usually, I will tell you the truth, usually it's really obvious, okay? One is definitely clearer than the other. This one's pretty close, but we're going to say that there's a little bit of a curve. If you look, there's a little bit of curve. We're going to call this quadratic, but I think any of you could make an argument for linear as well, because they're both really, really good models, actually. So the key does say quadratic, so we're going to stick with that. But I will tell you, if I gave you one, it would be very, very obvious which one is correct. Okay? So remember what I did. I did zoom out. So zoom out. And then you can just hit enter. And you can do it as many times as you need to, because we just couldn't see the points. All right? So the only time you ever have to turn the stat plots on is if you're comparing the graphs, so you can see where the points are. Okay? That's the only time you have to do it. All right? So I'm going to put 13 up, and then I'll just come around and check on you guys if you haven't. No, 12. 12 is the one. And you don't have to do stat plots. Who needs help on that last one? I mean, you know, if your numbers were just slightly off in here, it just probably means it, like, messed up. What number is that? No, but what problem is it? Oh, it's So weird. Don't forget, if you want a test review early, if you didn't grab one, they're over there.